Filming myself on the Vicar's laptop today, not his camera, for reasons we really don't want to go into. We left the story on the dramatic entry of Malvolio, Melville Oliver Spence, during the Vicar's session with the Glamour twins. He was accompanied by the obligatory young assistant, not so much a girl as an uneven struggle between a large pair of bosoms and a low-cut, well, extremely low-cut, tie-dye t-shirt. Malvolio's employment policy was similar to Bremore's. He once famously asked his bookkeeper, "How the hell did I employ anyone with boobs that small?" To which she replied, "You didn't. I'm self-employed."
Punk Sandalfoth.
He came over and shook me as if I was a rag doll.
You looked so much better with the makeup on. It was almost worth being fired by the vicar in order to see you in all that gorgeous girly makeup.
The uneven struggle raised an eyebrow at me.
And you looked so butch with my crash helmet on.
If you're waiting for some explanation of this comment, then dream on. He was referring to an event which I shall henceforth call the airbrush event, as I shall be removing it from history. The vicar was irate.
"I thought I made it very clear that I would only do this session on the condition that you absented yourself."
Which you must have known was the only guaranteed way of ensuring that my perverse, beautifully rounded little arse would show up.
Malvolio looked little different from when I'd seen him last time at the airbrush event 7 years before. Same black suit, same black t-shirt, same jet black hair, a modern version of Alan Rickman's Sheriff of Nottingham. He also had the same distant stare in his eyes, an unfortunate combination of natural arrogance and illegal narcotics.
The boys tell me that their run-through before lunch was perfect, so I sent them home. Which means we won't be needing your services anymore.
He moved over to a row of master switches and took great delight in very slowly and deliberately switching each one off. Each click was accompanied by a theatrical intake of breath, as it was if it was some sort of great sexual pleasure. The vicar's lips were pursed so tight that they'd almost disappeared.
"So, this is what you have become. One of the last surviving members of the breed, safe in taxes, fearless in shipwrecks, dominating the natives firmly but fairly, with nothing more than the occasional month-old copy of the Times and a tin of your favourite pipe tobacco. Reduced to this, a truly pathetic sight. And what of the radio show? Our beloved BBC, funded by us taxpayers, has paid astronomical sums of money to equip this pathetic little space with a row of ISDN boxes."
He pointed to a neat row of white boxes on the wall.
"So that a live show can be sent directly from here to Broadcast House."
Oh, they shall have their show,
Malvolio laughed.
and it will be spectacular, I assure you. We shall play them this.
He snapped his fingers and his assistant appeared with a DAT tape.
The tape that you so kindly recorded earlier.
If you had wanted to play a tape, you could have biked it over to them. It would have been thousands of pounds cheaper.
But it wouldn't have been the same. You really don't get it, do you? It's not the truth, but the myth that is important. The audience must believe that it is live.
He turned to leave the room.
And don't give me all that tosh about play up, and play the game. I don't go around wearing some hair shirt pretending that being uncomfortable is the same as being moral. I am playing the game. It's just that you don't know the rules.
He slammed the door behind him, leaving the vicar to sink into a chair. The uneven struggle had stayed behind, meekly suggesting that we arrange for the payment. The vicar shook himself with horror at the very thought that he might be expected to touch Malvolio's money.
"But you can make a cheque for £500 payable to Punk Sanderson. There is no reason why he should suffer for my pride. Coots, it had to be,"
he added on seeing the cheque.
"The aristocrat who banks with Coots, the aristocrat who hunts and shoots."
I'd never seen him so deflated.
"There was a time when Malvolio and I thought almost with one mind,"
he said after the girl had left.
"which is perhaps why it troubles me so much to see what he has become. Such an internally powerful man who could be such a force for good had he not gone so far off the rails."
A man that needs to get out of a rut and back into the groove, I offered helpfully, as he carefully packed his computer back into his bag before sitting quietly for a while.
But these are not our problems. We go as far as despair and then say, Lord, have mercy. If all else fails, put your trust in art.
He got up with a smile on his face and walks back through the office to the same spot where his album artwork was still hanging in exactly the same place as in the morning.
Snaffle, I think.
He leant over the astonished person who was still sitting at the desk and took it down from the wall, looking lovingly at it.
Good. My soul feels better already.
I helped him carry it to the car and install it safely on the back seat. He apologised for leaving me to tidy up.
I'm sorry, I would rather not go back into that accursed building. Malvolio can pay to have my rack shipped back to me.
He carefully folded his coat and put it onto the passenger seat.
Besides, he said, feeling ever more cheerful, I have a radio show to listen to.
Which is how the vicar came to be driving home to his vicarage in Wiltshire, achieving the seemingly impossible task of driving down the motorway, listening to himself simultaneously performing live in a studio in the middle of London. I myself performed a more interesting time-bending feat by climbing through the window of the flat next door and enjoying the forbidden fruits that had been so frequently offered to me by an attractive Russian neighbour while her husband was away. Well, it seemed like an ideal time, like one of those Jonathan Crink mysteries, but without the murder. After all, no one can be in two places at once, can they? Although, I'm meant to be packing my bags to go home right now.
That boy's not cool. He's got ears the size of a deer face, broken nose and a twisted face, with a voice that...
Bingo! Home run! Grand slam! Dear Vicar, we now know the exact computer that sent the file. It came from the following folder: westend/studio2/mydocument/music.
It was a typical London journey. Half an hour to drive to the house, 20 minutes finding somewhere to park, and then 10 minutes walking back to the house you found half an hour before. There must be a better way. Yeah, I suppose it's called a taxi.